Let's take a second to talk about episode 4 of The Last of Us, because I was waiting for it and I don't understand how shitty it was. Don't even get me started on Josh Peck being in the episode, because I don't even understand his involvement at all. Even though I'm not hating on it, it just was genuinely out of place and confusing, and it really takes you out of the immersion of The Last of Us as a universe. But ultimately, further beyond that, what I find most cringy about the experience watching The Last of Us on HBO is how, while it tries to remain faithful to the events of both The Last of Us Part 1 and 2 as video games, ultimately it ends up pandering to these different communities in such a way that it just makes The Last of Us come off as and seem pretty cringe. With the first example of this being the relationship dynamic between Ellie and Dina throughout the events of this episode, especially because of the fact that Ellie in the TV show was not fixated on getting revenge. It seems like she just came to Seattle to have fun pretty much. While I will admit that one of my biggest complaints about the events of The Last of Us Part 2 is the fact that I missed Ellie acting like her childish and goofy normal self, I definitely don't feel like it's warranted after the events of the last few episodes, and the fact that this is supposed to be a version of Ellie that is still dealing with post-traumatic stress and dealing with the trauma of witnessing Joel's death. Plus, we also have the moments where they had to take on the WLF in this episode, and I actually really enjoyed that and thought it was very reminiscent of the video games themselves, as well as the fact that it was realistic that they had to run away. And it's definitely going to be next to impossible for them to actually take on the WLF as a threat going into these newer episodes, because of the fact that they're just two little girls and they're dealing with a 1,000-man army. But the biggest complaint I can say that I without a doubt have for this episode is the relationship between Dina and Ellie and how they handled the reveal of Ellie being immune in this episode, because they could have totally just saved it for an instance where in a sport-filled environment like in the video games and Dina just happens to see her breathing in spores, but instead they chose to make it so Ellie sacrifices herself pretty much and gets bitten trying to save Dina, and then Dina immediately turns on Ellie and threatens to shoot. And not even 2 seconds after Dina in her mind feels it's confirmed that Ellie cannot be infected even though she was bitten, she just tells Ellie that she's pregnant and then sleeps with her. Now this was obviously cringy to me for multiple reasons, but the main ones are just I really don't want to see that happen between these two characters. I found it cringy in the games as well, but it's even worse in the show because their relationship feels forced and very out of place, and you can very much tell that they're acting, and it's not very enjoyable to watch when it doesn't feel like the actors involved want to participate. And ultimately the shit is just cringe, especially the fact that in the game Ellie was not on go with Dina being pregnant. In fact, she was pissed off about the fact that Dina waited so long to tell her, because she would have just made her ass stay home while Ellie just went to go get revenge in Seattle on her own. However, the show version of Ellie is happy about the fact that Dina is pregnant and even goes on to say that she's gonna be a dad, even though that by itself was a very cringe. So I guess however you feel about the episode depends on your personal personality and how you personally feel that The Last of Us plays out. But ultimately, in my personal opinion, I thought that shit was mid, and this is definitely the chopped of us, episode 4. And I'm not really looking forward to watching the rest of it because I feel like it's just gonna be downhill, especially because Ellie in the show doesn't even feel like her goal is actually committed to getting revenge on Abby. Whenever they do end up capturing Abby and all her friends, it's just gonna feel half-assed and like not any of them really want to be there to participate. They're gonna still do a plot twist reveal, show us that Tommy did end up traveling to Seattle anyways, but regardless of that, I'm not even hyped for this shit no more. I just want it to be over. But the chopped of us is just getting more and more chopped as the days go by, and it's gotten to the point where I feel like we just need to put this franchise to rest and let it stand for the masterpiece that we all recognize. That's just my personal opinion as what we should do. Definitely leave a comment and let me know how you feel about this. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you can get notified the next time I upload, and I'll see you the next time I drop. For watching, I love and appreciate you all. Sun God signing up.
I come in clutch like a genie. Don't talk unless you need me. You talk too much, you need it. All of my bitches look like models, she in love with me. When we link, it's flashing lights and cameras.